Good morning everybody, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Volmer. And today's theme is the problem with wagons. So I guess I should start with, it's been a little while since I posted anything up to do with the railway, as many of you will probably know. My last couple of videos have been on my other passion and hobby, which I've had equally as long as the trains, to be fair. I've always had a keen interest on aeroplanes since I was a child in any case, and basically a couple of weeks ago I lost my mojo completely for the railway, and I basically wanted to almost pack it in. I was going to almost consider taking it down. The reason why I didn't is mainly because it's going to make more noise to take it down than it would be just to leave it up, and that's been pretty much the issue that I've been having. Now I'm hoping that this has kind of been resolved because I've changed a few things, the way I'm doing things, so I'm hoping that things have calmed down now. But because of it, it's kind of made me take a real step back from it. I've got so many videos to catch up on, I've got so many comments to reply to. I've literally have just kind of lost it for a few weeks, and today it's been the first time I've run any trains at all for nearly 2 weeks. But slowly but surely things have been getting better in terms of I've been slowly watching people's videos, I've been slowly catching up with people, so hopefully I'll get back into it. It's just I guess we all have the passion for model railways, and it stays with you pretty much most of your life, and then there's periods in your life where you kind of either lose interest or other things take over. And I guess that's where I'm at with the railway at the moment. It's kind of like other things have taken over for the time being, and hopefully I'm slowly but surely getting back into it. But in truth, there has been a huge gap between the two videos, so it's quite random with me when you'll get a video anyway. You could get 2 in a week and then you might not hear anything from me for a few weeks, or you might get one a month, and so it's quite random. It's just as and when, really. And the other reason for putting up this video is because I might be going back to work on Monday. In fact, it does look highly likely that I'm going back to work on Monday, which in some ways is quite a big relief. I literally have not seen a soul for 3 months, so I'd be quite happy to kind of make contact with my colleagues again and just to say hello and catch up. So onwards and upwards with the video. So the theme is the problems with wagons is ... Alan, my good buddy Alan over at Dragon Junction, bought some containers, as a lot of you will know, and he bought some container wagons which are the same which I had, and he had issues with his, which he's obviously probably told you, well, he has told you on his last video. And he said, and I obviously explained correctly, that I contacted him and I explained to him that I'd done the video, and he followed my lead. However, there is a twist to these container wagons, and it's got nothing to do with us as customers buying these wagons. It's to do with dapole and quality control. And I think that's what causes the problems with the derailments with these wagons. Because Alan started taking his screws apart off of his wagon, which I'll show you in a moment. And you could see he stopped for a moment. He actually physically had to think about what he was going to do next, because something clicked in his head that it wasn't quite right. And when I saw it, I realised that too. That was something that wasn't quite right. And it's because there's a twist. Now, either his wagons or my wagons, the couplings were put on the wrong way round, because he hadn't modified his wagons prior to him doing what he did on the video, and I hadn't done mine either, but yet the couplings were the wrong way round. And so let me start with these container wagons. These are the ones in question. These are the dapple ones, twin packs, and they're joined in the centre by this bar. But the problem lies at this end, the tension lock coupling end, because I'm going to show you now what the problem is with these wagons and what I think has caused a lot of the problems with the derailments, as well as they're not giving you enough play. So let me just show you. I'm going to just basically turn the camera around. So this is the end in question. I'm going to show you what I think was the problem. Now, the problem is this bit here. Now I've put everything back after my modification as Dapol had given it to me originally. All I did was just make the modification, put it back exactly as it was. But this is where the problem lies. So I'm just going to unscrew it. If I can actually get this in. There you go. Now, I don't know if I can show you this. That was how that was given to me when I bought this. It seems like Alan's wagons were the opposite way round. In other words, that this bit here that's facing down was actually facing up. Let me see if I can demonstrate it to you without it pinging. And I noticed it on his when he was doing his. Now you have to be a bit careful, and I have to be even more careful because here it is. There you go. So mine was facing like that when I got it. Now Alan's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was facing the other way round. So it seems that Dapol, when they put these couplings on, put some the right way round and some the wrong way round. But which is the right way round and which is the wrong way round, I don't really know. Either way, we've managed to get them to work. But it does seem like there is a little bit of a twist to it, in the sense that it seems like some of these wagons were put on the wrong way round, the couplings, which seems a bit odd. So the next problem with wagons are these ones, my new EWS ones that I bought. Now the last time that you saw them, they were running around merrily and happily behind my Class 60 around my circuit. Then I took it round Bourdillon Gardens and it hated it. And it derailed and derailed and derailed and derailed constantly. And then it started derailing on the circuit as well. So I checked the back-to-back gauges on them all, and they were all out. So that was the first thing. And as you can see, they've all got wagon loads on them. So this is something else I've been doing to them. It's just got card, so it's not completely filled, otherwise it'd be too heavy. So it's just like a layer. Because this is coal that was come from Ringwood South. On my last layout, I bought some coal for my steamers, and I bought this bag of coal. And this was the coal that was left over, and thankfully I had that bag of coal, because that resolved a big issue, because they were constantly derailing. They were basically top heavy and too light. So because they were too light and top heavy, basically as it would go round the corners, it would lean into the corner rather than go round the corner, and then it will drag everything behind it off the track. And I couldn't work it out for love nor money. Now, like I said, the back-to-back gauges were out on the wheels. So I put my back-to-back gauge on them to do them all, and the back-to-back gauge is quite weighty. So I decided to put the weight into this front wagon here to see what would happen, to see if it was a weight issue. So I was just trying to see if it was a weight issue, and it turns out that that was exactly what the case was. it was that there was not enough light in the wagon. So an empty wagon wasn't heavy enough to go around the corners without derailing. And then the other problem with these couplings is that they're fixed as well. They're fixed couplings, so they don't go around corners. They're just fixed. So there's no play in them to help them get around the corner. So like I said, so I filled up this load, and since then, happily, they seem to be trundling around. Like I said, today's the first day in about 2 weeks that I've run any trains. I'm going to let the trains run, and then we'll move on to the next part of the layout update. And away they go. Now let's hope they behave themselves. Okay, right, so there's been a slight delay since my last clip. We've had a change in traction for my coal hopper, because clearly they still need some more weight in them because they're still derailing behind my 60. However, it doesn't seem to mind the 66, and I haven't tried it with the other 60. Now the other 60 I'm going to be trying shortly because that hasn't been modified. My original 66, my AWS one, has been modified, the previous, and it just keeps, the coupling isn't going round smoothly enough. It's obviously catching on something, so I might have to look at that. So that's what I think that is. So I'm just going to try and prove that point with the other 60 shortly. But anyway, so what else have I been up to? I've put some basic greenery down, just basic stuff. This was all done prior to 2 weeks ago, so I've done that, and I've also put some hedging around the back. Like I said, this isn't finished. This was only just supposedly just sort of like a base coat. As my 66 is about to come into the shop now. This is the section where it has the most trouble with these wagons, because it's this tight S-bend that goes round and round. And as I spin you around, you can also see that I've done the road. So I've done the hard standing on the road, that's what I did, but I haven't actually got any further with it. I've had to modify the trunking slightly. If I just sort of, I'm going to put you up here a bit. So I've modified the cable trunking slightly and put an edge on the end, and that will just basically assume that the cable goes underneath the ground, across the point, and come up through the other side. And that's what's been done there. So for this next bit, I'm going a bit freehand because basically it's probably going to be easier to get into the nooks and crannies. So this is what else I've been up to. I've now made some more fencing, which has been a very laborious job, and I had some spare security fencing here, so I've put that in. Also a little bit of greenery here. I've got some greenery here on the hillside here, and I've also done some greenery along there. Yeah, that's better. So now it's just got a basic layer of greenery. Let's just put that back there. I'm not quite sure what I showed you with this as the 66 comes round. As you can see, this tight S-bend. It's not helped by the join here, the drop down join here, so it is very, very tricky to negotiate around here. As I take it into the bus depot, I've also put the walling in. I haven't finished this bit of it. That was one of the last things I was meant to do. After it happened, I just stopped everything. And I've also got round to finishing the bus station, or the bus garage, I should say. and I had some Metcalf windows left over. The doors open and they close. They're held in by matchsticks once again, the same method as I used over on the ramp. So basically I can raise the building slightly and then close the doors if I want to. There's also a fueling pump with a decker on it, and like I said, this is the bit that I've been working on most, and I've also been putting up some signage here, some safety signage, and that is pretty much it. And if I sort of spin you around back this way, you can sort of see what's going on here. The 66 is just about to turn up, so I will just let it come through. There it comes. So as you can see, even though I haven't been on YouTube much on the train side of things, basically I am still knocking about and I am still working on the railway, so I'm pretty pleased with progress. I mean, I know it's been slow a little recently, but I think this is still really good progress, and I think a lot's still been achieved, and there's still lots to do. And the nice thing is that all the stuff that is left to do, a lot of it is basically a lot of it's quite quiet stuff, so there's not much in the way of heavy-handed stuff to do just yet. There is some to do still, but not just yet. And as you can see, Harry Beck is now running alright after her problems. So that's had quite a few problems itself, but that seems to be running okay now. Now I've sorted that out, and it's running happily and merrily with the container wagons, which I modified, whether with the couplings the right way around or upside down. It seems to be okay now. It's a bit speedy, that 33. So I've swapped out the 66 DB Shanker to put my class 60 on it to see whether it would derail, and it's still having trouble, and that's because the springs on the 60s are too tight. They're too, and basically they're too strong, and it just basically derails everything behind it. What I've done to try and alleviate this is I've removed the hook off the front wagon, and that seems to have helped, because there was a bit of cross coupling going on and it just kept derailing it. So it seems to be okay. It just seems a bit strange that the 66s have absolutely no problem with it whatsoever, but the 60s don't like it. But they don't really like tight curves in any case. But as you can see, it's running along nicely. So I haven't had much of a chance to deal with the lorry, the recovery truck that I bought. You just see 66 and the 60 go round. And now the 33. I haven't had much chance to deal with the recovery truck or figure out where I'm going to put it yet, because like I said, I'm slowly but surely getting back into it. So here comes one of my lesser spotted locomotives. The whole reason for buying these wagons So I hope you've enjoyed my video, and that concludes the video for today. Still troublesome trucks with the EWS hoppers, still having issues. But I think that's more down to the class 60 because I've had issues with both 60s. One was modified, one wasn't. But they're both still playing up. They just don't like tight corners, and the springs on the back of the couplings are just too tight. The 66s don't mind them, they're not too bad with the 66s, but the train that I really bought them for, which was a 56, which was the footage at the end, that was just one of them. I do have another 3 of them, ran with no trouble at all. So if that's the case, then I'm pretty happy that they'll just go around with 56s, because that's what I bought them for. So yeah, I'm pleased that the 56 ran straight out of the box. And that particular 56 did have some lighting issues, and that I sorted out some time ago back at Ringwood South, and thankfully it's still working perfectly fine. So until the next time, I am still here. Videos will still be coming, and I hope you enjoyed the little running session towards the end. So until the next time, it's bye from me. Bye bye.